and thank you for giving me the floor. Your Excellencies, I'm very honored to be part of this panel. Ladies and gentlemen, good quality education is a human right, and it is actually a prerequisite for any democracy. When we're discussing how to transform education, it must be with the understanding that only a human rights-based approach will drive positive change. This means leaving no one behind, reaching every child, and prioritizing keeping schools open at all times, even during crises. And that is exactly what my country did during the pandemic. Even though this decision was criticized by some, we believe it was the right decision to keep primary schools open with the interest of learning for children and with ensuring the foundational learning. Another practice I would like to underline is that I agree fully with our youth participants that youth need to be involved in decision-making around education. We're fully behind you on that. In our view, there are three key policy priorities that are needed to transform education for well-being, for the future of work, for planetary sustainability, and of course, for us to reach SDG 4. The first policy priority is that curricula at all levels must include the skills needed for both girls and boys to be empowered as citizens. For instance, through comprehensive sexuality education and through education for sustainable development. Because fundamental challenges that we're facing today, such as poverty, such as gender inequality, climate change, loss of biodiversity, and undemocratic advancements are all interconnected. And to tackle these problems, education policies must integrate an environmental, economic, and social dimension. The second policy priority is teacher training. Teachers must be well-paid and well-trained. We must strengthen and support teachers to be able to address complex issues in the classroom and to assist them in using the best technologies available. The third policy priority is lifelong learning. My government has recently, together with social partners, launched the greatest reform package for the Swedish labour market in modern times, enabling workers to study for 1 year to reskill and upskill while retaining up to 80% of their income and not losing their jobs. With a skilled labour force, we are enabling the green and digital transition. Now let me end by underlining how important UNESCO is in all these policy areas. And that's why we're very proud to be a big contributor of funds to UNESCO. I think actually we're the biggest in the education sector. We do this very proudly. We provide unearmarked flexible funding, and we're looking forward to many years of continued collaboration, for instance, in supporting UNESCO's role in coordinating support to SDG 4, also in working with UNESCO on comprehensive sexuality education through the program Our Lives, Our Rights, Our Futures, and, for instance, through working together with UNESCO in supporting girls' education in Afghanistan. Thank you very much. I want to come back to the sort of fundamentals. Quality education is a basic human right, and governments need to take responsibility to providing this for all children to start with, to give them the foundation to become empowered citizens. And because I know that the pandemic is not over, it's rampant in some parts of the world, and we will probably be hit by another one in the future, I want to share a motto of my education minister, which is, when trying to manage a pandemic, always keep the schools open as long as possible. The schools are the ones that should close the last, and they are the ones that should open the first. go for shopping malls, restaurants, sports arenas, or whatever to try and contain a pandemic, but really don't touch the primary schools, because what you lose then is very difficult to catch up on. And I think we saw some really shocking statistics from our Japanese colleague on how many children are still out of school. So this is really fundamental, but I think that right to learn, the right to education should also follow us through the whole life. And the constant urge to reskill and upskill citizens so that they can be part of the transitions that are ongoing now, the green transition, the digital transition. That's also a government responsibility. But governments are not alone. They can work very well with civil society, and of course, as donors, we are partnering with a number of governments around the world in providing development cooperation to help governments actually make sure that they are providing this basic human right to their citizens. Thank you.